4 nutrition tips for better health and vitality. Hey, it's Zane here with you for Rock Solid Wellness, where my mission is to help you to think well, eat well, move well, and live well. You know, when it comes to nutrition, these days there's so much noise and conflicting information out there, it can be tough to know what makes sense for us. The problem is that humanity has evolved from eating to live to living to eat. Food is big business these days. We've become emotionally attached to food more so than ever before. We eat socially, we eat for love and convenience. And the reality is that we are now overfed and undernourished as a society as a result. Now, I for one really enjoy food, and I eat a variety of different things, and I tend not to pigeonhole myself too much when it comes to diet and nutrition. So I can tell you that this is not about deprivation or discarding big food groups or going without. But I do believe, and I've learned over the years, that most people are missing, for the most part, a simple framework or a basic set of rules that would otherwise really serve them in their quest for better health and nutrition. You see, I believe that you can have your cake and eat it too if you follow a basic framework or a set of rules that I like to refer to as rock solid nutritional principles, and to have them built into your lifestyle. So I want to share with you 4 areas or 4 tips that I think can serve you in this regard. Firstly, don't do diets. Diets don't work in the way that we interpret diets. You see, in recent decades, the diet industry has actually done a disservice to the word diet by associating it with a temporary way of eating or even deprivation. I mean, you and I both know people who are forever dieting. They're going from the next best thing to back to the old thing, one thing to the next, and typically they get nowhere with their health because it's not sustainable. And generally they return to their starting point, usually discouraged and even worse off than when they started. So here's the thing to realize. The word diet actually means manner of living. Diet comes from a Latin origin word dieta, D-I-E-A-T-A, dieta, which means manner of living. Your diet is your lifestyle. It's a way of life. It's a set of rules, a basic framework that you discover over time that you're either raised with or you gravitate to that serves you and your lifestyle. So I want you to have the mindset of diet being a way of life rather than something that you do temporarily for a short period of time. Number 2 is to eat seasonally and close to source. Now, one of the biggest problems with food today is that even if you eat a healthy diet, the problem is accessing nutrient-rich, high-quality food on a consistent basis. There are more hidden chemicals in today's food than ever before that are used in cultivating crops, in transportation, and in storage. And the supermarkets also have year-round access to every food that you can imagine. Even foods that aren't in season, you'll find year-round on your supermarket shelf. So the real key here is to try to avoid supermarkets when it comes to fresh produce wherever possible. Foods that are sitting on supermarket shelves are exposed to indoor air conditioning, stagnant air. There's no sunlight. They've typically been in storage boxes in refrigeration for days and sometimes even weeks on end, sprayed with untold chemicals. You don't know where they've been sourced, how far they've traveled. And so for me, the key to accessing the best produce seasonally is to shop at my local farmers markets. Now, the good news is that when you go and you shop at your local farmers markets, you also get a food vibe. You start to see fresh fruit and vegetables through a different set of eyes. Your senses are activated, and you develop an appreciation and an intuitive sense of what's in season. Not only that, you get to talk to the growers. Nothing is wrapped in plastic. You pick up the fruit or the vegetables, you can feel the difference in terms of, what it's coated in, and chemicals and wax and that kind of a thing. And so whenever you can, get to the local farmers markets to source your fresh fruits and vegetables. Do it weekly is my recommendation. Number 3, embrace the 80-20 rule. We've all heard of the 80-20 rule, but I like to apply it to a nutritional framework as well. Now, whether you grew up with an understanding of the basic food pyramid or the 5 food groups or not, you probably agree that it's common sense to eat more fresh fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, and even whole organic grains. All of that makes sense. But the reality is that most people don't eat anywhere near enough of these foods, even though it's vital for long-term health to avoid becoming nutritionally toxic or deficient. So important that we get these foods. So my question to you is, are you eating enough fresh whole foods? Did you know that whole foods contain every vitamin, mineral, enzyme, protein, and carbohydrate that we'll ever need? So if you're not dedicating at least 80% of your diet to a wide variety of plant whole foods, then it's really time to regroup. Because chances are, unknowingly, or perhaps it's creeping up on you, that you're becoming toxic and or deficient. So what I like to do is to have a little mental rule that says eat 80% fresh fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds, and the other 20% is my more concentrated foods, and even partly dedicated to what I call my leave pass, where I can pretty much eat whatever I want. So in that other 20%, that's where you would have your rice or your pasta or your grains or your beans. Then you can even have some organic, hormone-free animal products as well, or even a cheat meal or a treat every once in a while. So it's really that 80% that matters most. And we know in life that, our results are really determined by what we do 80% of the time, and your nutrition and your diet is no different. So this is a rule, this 80-20 rule, that really helps me to stay on track. The fourth and final principle for today is to eat liquids first. Now, this is a little mantra I've come up with in recent years that really ties into the principle of your 4 body cycles, or the circadian rhythm, the 24-hour clock, and also the power of intermittent or cycled fasting for energy and cellular regeneration. So what you eat first when you wake up really, really matters. Why is this? Well, because this is the time of day when you are breaking your fast. That's right, breakfast means to break your fast. And the reality is that most people have totally lost touch with this principle and what this means, and why it's important, and why breakfast is actually not the most important meal of the day, despite all the BS that we've been fed for decades. When you wake up, your digestive system is still doing its temple work, its handiwork. Your body is in what is known as the elimination or the detoxification cycle, which typically kicks in around 4 a.m. and runs through until noon or midday. So it's during this time that your body needs some space. It doesn't need to be disrupted from its handiwork with interference that we call solid food. Instead, drink water with fresh lemon juice. Drink a fresh, cold-pressed, raw juice, fruit and vegetable juice. Have a black coffee with a dash of grass-fed butter or MCT oil. Or the next best thing would be to have a green smoothie or a banana smoothie. So really the key is to ensure that you're putting the least amount of stress on your digestive system at a time when your digestive system is at its most active and it's doing its reset work, and that is first thing in the morning. So eat liquids first and you'll be doing your digestive system and supporting it in the way that it really needs. So the main takeaway here is that nutrition is a complex area where too many of us get bogged down. So it's important we really simplify it. Different experts have different opinions on what to eat, and all of them can build a really compelling case. But I choose to filter all of it, to use my intuition, to do what intuitively feels right for me, and then to just have a basic set of rules that serve me well. And through that, I never get sick. There's no need for me to take supplements. I always have boundless energy. I sleep great. And there's never been any changes to my body composition since my 20s. So for me, this is a framework that has worked really, really well. And, take from it what you will, but certainly I'm sure there's some insights here that can really serve you. So I'm Zane Truscott. This is Rock Solid Wellness. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Hey, it's Zane here, and thanks for listening. If you received value from today's episode and you'd like to see how I can help you at an even deeper level, I invite you to check out my Rock Solid Wellness online course and coaching programs. It's all about helping you to break through any limitations you may have and building strong, robust mind and body habits that put you in control. My at-home video course is a pre-recorded module training where we focus on boosting your mindset, nutrition, movement, and lifestyle. And if you'd like to work with me even more closely, I also offer group and private coaching to help you integrate the rock solid steps into your own life. To learn more about my online course or coaching programs, go to zanetruscott.com. Again, thank you for listening, and I look forward to serving you on your journey to rock solid wellness. Hey, thanks for listening to Rock Solid Wellness. If you got value from this episode, feel free to leave me a comment or review on your favorite podcast platform. I also appreciate any constructive feedback or topic suggestions so that I can keep improving and serve you best. Keep in mind that the content of this episode is for informational and inspirational purposes only and is not intended to replace any advice given to you by your doctor or healthcare professional. I do recommend that you consult your personal physician before acting on any of the information contained in this episode to determine its suitability for you. This is Zane Truscott signing out. Again, thanks for listening, and until next time, stay strong and live well.